This is Anderson Penn's podcast episode 34 for Tuesday, January 15th, 2013. This is Brian.
This is Lisa.
This is the Anderson Penn's Radio Network.
Konnichiwa. You didn't expect that one, did you?
I thought we were going to say like hum jumbo together or something.
No, that's last week. Swahili's out, man.
Okay, that's sweet.
There are, I don't even know how many different languages in the world. So we just need to keep doing podcasts until I have learned how to say either welcome or hello or both in every language out there.
Okay. This is the Philadelphia Penn Show.
What's better than what's up?
This is the Philadelphia Penn Show edition of our podcast. We just got back from Philadelphia. I'm just moving right over that.
Yeah, I see that.
We just got back from Philadelphia yesterday. I don't know about you, but I still need a couple more days to recover. But we're glad to be home and slowly sorting things out.
Emphasis on slowly.
Slowly, yeah. Pretty much got the boxes into the pen room, and
Died.
Unloading is going to happen tomorrow, probably.
Yep.
I guess for us, it started back on Thursday.
That's almost a week ago already.
Yeah, pretty close. We left Thursday afternoon after a late night Wednesday packing session. We got up early. Lisa drove me to work, and I finished off what was my very last day of work at my job. Lisa picked me up. My beautiful wife picks me up and heads off to Penn Show. What better way to end the day?
Or end a job.
End a job, yeah.
Drive you off into the sunset, literally.
Literally. That was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And,
I think so.
Yeah, we got on the road right away and drove through the night. We stopped about, I think it was 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and we pulled off, and we slept for about an hour because neither one of us could continue on at that point. But we managed to make our way to the hotel around 9 o'clock in the morning on Friday.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it wasn't all things considered, it wasn't too bad. But not until we ended up driving around some of Philadelphia's one-way streets a couple of times before we found where the heck the parking lot was.
We could see it. We could
see the hotel.
There.
You just can't see where to park. It's crazy.
Yeah. Almost as bad as Baltimore.
Baltimore is ridiculous.
Baltimore is actually easier to find the parking garage. It's just harder to park and unload your stuff.
Yeah, it's hard to find where the actual room is, but we'll talk about that in a couple months.
Oh, my God.
It was a little cumbersome, I think, getting our car unpacked.
Yeah.
And they had to go around up this little ramp, but it was kind of a round little S kind of thing. Up the ramp, through the lobby, over to the elevator, up to the second floor where the trading room was. We did that about 3 times. But when we got there, we saw Bert Ozer. He's at the table getting people sorted out, and we got our table assignment. And I kind of peeked into the ballroom, and I'm thinking, man, this thing looks big. Having been there before, I was excited that it looked big. And then, much to my surprise, when we got in, we just kept going, and then there was a second trading room in this room. So it was a really, really big area, very spacious, plenty of room in between the aisles. And a ton of room in between the dealers. If there's one thing I dislike about some shows, it's having to squeeze. It's when they squeeze dealers back to back, so close that you can't even move around. And this was nice. We had a lot of room in between us. We could put boxes of pens on the floor and not have to worry about people tripping over them. Although I think we tripped over him a couple times.
Yeah, we didn't trip over anybody behind us. We tripped over our own stuff.
Space was
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it was nice. You could walk down the aisles and not worry about running into people.
And like Brian said, sometimes the tables are so close that you're literally like bumping butts with people the whole time. Or if somebody's sitting down and kind of backed up to get comfy, you've got to slide around or force them to move. So this was awesome. Bert could easily fit another row by moving things around. So he's got room in that space to expand, but it was really nice
That's
to
perfect.
have all that room.
Yeah, perfect.
So that was great. We started to set up right away, hoping to be done by about 11, but
Yeah.
it didn't quite happen. I don't know that we were even completely set up until probably after 3.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Traffic was pretty heavy. Customers and other dealers walking around pretty much from the start. And pretty much we blinked and it was 5 o'clock and the show was over for the day.
Yeah, we kind of looked at each other and we realized that in addition to basically having worked the entire previous day, driving through the night with very little sleep,
Yeah.
and you can't really count sleep in the car as sleep because it's really not. It doesn't really count. We had missed breakfast because we were setting up, and completely missed lunch. And here it was 5 o'clock. We grabbed a couple of things, took them up to the room, and proceeded to head down to the lounge for a beverage and some food. Lisa had a salad, I think.
It was yummy, a big chef salad.
And I decided since I was in Philadelphia, I needed to have a Philly cheesesteak. Boy, was that something else. Really, really yummy. We had wings for an appetizer. Those disappeared quite quickly. Really, really good food for bar food. And the beer wasn't bad either. But then again, we could have eaten cardboard probably. And it would have tasted good.
Yep. I think the beer was a Sam Adams seasonal lager.
Yeah, it was something different.
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, very, very tasty.
Yep.
Overall, the show traffic was brisk on Friday. We were pleased. We did get to see one of our friends, Dan Kirchheimer, who showed me some really neat early Waterman lever fillers, as well as an early potential crossover with Aiken Lambert early lever fillers. We only got a chance to talk briefly as it was kind of closing time. And then, then we ate, and it was nice to go to bed. In fact, the beds were very comfortable. The fact that they were comfortable was even better.
Yeah. Honestly, I barely remember what I had for dinner. I don't think I remember going up to the room or saying goodbye to anybody else who might have been in the bar. I don't remember unpacking or getting into bed. I just remember kind of waking up Saturday going, oh.
Yeah, that's what
That was
sleep.
nice.
That's what sleep is.
It was awesome to be able to stretch out and sleep and not move. Although we do have fun at like 3 a.m, jamming out to oldies and stuff.
In the car, yeah.
In the car, yeah.
Yeah.
Not at 2 in the morning.
I gotta say, I tried to keep Lisa awake by playing some
again.
songs on my iPod. I had a playlist, and it was essentially the soundtrack to Breaking Bad, which
we love.
Which we love. And if you watch the show and you actually listen to the music, it's quite varied. And I told her, I said, you've heard all these songs before, and there's 64 songs on the album.
Well, when he said you've heard all of these before, I'm thinking on the radio, not a clip on some show that we watched, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I was quite frankly wide awake because I was annoyed as hell.
Anyway, moving right along, I thought it was a good idea.
I'm sure you did.
Saturday morning, we awoke refreshed, ready for the big day because it's the big public day.
Yep.
And as part of the dealer table fee, we were given the tickets to breakfast buffet in the restaurant, which is terrific. We had a good breakfast with Ron and Robin Zorn from Main Street Pens. It included hot eggs, bacon, breakfast potatoes. It had onions and peppers, some fresh fruit, orange juice, coffee. Much needed.
It was delicious. Huge spread. Really, really good food. The eggs had like chives or something sprinkled over them. That was kind of a cool touch.
Yep.
The bacon was super crispy. That was nice. I hate soggy bacon. Let's see, we were pretty much set up from Friday. So all we had to do was straighten a few things out, restock some stuff that we'd sold on Friday. That's just such an awesome way to start a busy day. If all you have to do is straighten and restock.
Yep.
Bert does a really good job with his shows, as does Terry Mahorter and a couple of the other show organizers, by not making the dealers break down every night. And man, we are really appreciative of that.
Yeah, I mean, because if we had to, it would be an extra probably 4 or 5 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every
we get
day.
set up, only have a couple hours to do anything, and then have to start to tear down, and that just is no fun.
Since we didn't have a whole lot to do that morning, I managed to get around to a few people's tables early. I made my first purchase at Jerry Adair's table. I don't normally buy things like this, but this is cute. A cute little ring top, screw cap, eyedropper, chased hard rubber. It's got 2 gold-filled bands on the cap, and the price was almost ridiculous. So
in a good way, right?
In a good way, yeah.
Okay.
I couldn't believe it. It was like, money you'd find on the street kind of thing. So I grabbed that. In fact, I thought he was maybe missing a digit somewhere in there. I spotted a couple more items on his table that I'm interested in, but I wanted to wait, as it's always good to wait because you never know what's going to come through the door. And also Saturday is the auction day, so I wanted to make sure we had some funds for that. A few minutes later, I'm walking around and I spotted one item that was on my wish list, the Lamy 2000, and I hadn't seen them anywhere else. And here they were, in a box, every nib size from extra fine to oblique double broad. And unfortunately, on the first pass, the dealer wasn't there. On the second pass, I discovered it was Bob Nuren's table. Who's a well-known vintage dealer, but he was deep into discussion with another collector, and I didn't want to disturb him.
Ooh, saved.
Yeah, saved, right? But about 15 minutes later, I stopped back in, brought Lisa over, and I asked the price on it, and I selected the oblique broad 2000, and I took it home with me. So,
well, that's not the end of the story. You were doing the happy dance all the way back to the table.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were all excited.
Yeah, and I actually used it at work today. It was really, really a sweet, sweet pen.
Cool.
So.
All right. The doors opened at 10. People made their way into the second room where we were set up. Had a few problems with cell phone reception for the credit card processing in the beginning, but we had a contingency plan in place and it all worked out. But not a great way to start the day by being frustrated, but we ran into a lot of fun people, and we were busy all day.
Yeah. Traffic was brisk. Around 11 o'clock, I had to step out of the room for a phone-in by the FP Geeks for their morning podcast. That was quick and brief. About 10 minutes later, I was back in the room helping out at the table. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Those first 3-4 hours of the day were just crazy.
Which isn't always the case. Sometimes a show starts out slow.
Yeah.
And it isn't until, even on a Saturday, noon to 3 is usually pretty busy. So it was nice that there were steady people walking around, customers, people stopping in to say hi. Sometimes you're, not so much on a Saturday, but sometimes you're sitting around and kind of waiting for something to happen, and it was busy all day.
Right. Well, all of a sudden, and I don't remember exactly what time it was, but probably close to noon, another dealer comes running up to the table, comes behind the table, pulls me aside and says, "I need you now."
Now, that doesn't usually happen. Dealers don't take you away from your table.
No.
Especially on a busy Saturday, unless it's important.
Yeah. And
so we knew something was up, either really good or really bad.
So I quickly motioned to Lisa. I had to go, and we made our way kind of through the crowd, through our trading room, the second trading room, and then eventually out the main door into the lobby. And all I could get out of him at the time where that there were Esterbrook nibs involved, and that's all I knew. So I get out in the lobby area, and there's some chairs and a few tables out there. And then there sat at one of the tables an older man, tall gentleman, graying hair and mustache, and a rather large box at his feet.
This is called Nirvana.
Yeah, we introduced ourselves, shook hands, and we sat down and we began to talk. And it turns out he had accumulated this collection of Esterbrook Renew points over some time, and finally decided it was time to sell. He had apparently taken them to the Washington D.C. show last August, offered them to one dealer, and was given such a lowball bid on them. He was insulted and he walked away.
And he's a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah.
He's really nice.
And so I was told he would accept a fair wholesale offer, and then they would be ours. So, and then he opens the box up to discover not only is there a plastic container full of, what was it, about, I don't know, 15 boxes in there, but an entire original wooden display case with 2 trays of nibs, and they're full.
And the case was in excellent condition.
Yeah. And so my head's spinning, and I'm wondering, how the heck am I going to value these nibs? Because you've got nibs here that are worth, $6 to $50.
Or more.
Yeah, and he pulls out 2 sheets of paper, which are copies of an Esterbrook advertisement that shows all the different nibs and then the writing samples. And he had written down the amounts on each sheet, one for the plastic container and another one for the case.
The quantities of nibs.
Yeah. I mean, he made it easy. Just under 500 nibs in total, and pretty much at least one in each of the series 1,000, 2,000, and 9,000 series nibs. We talked a bit. I brought him back to our table where we, because either way, he was going to walk around the room and he didn't want to have to carry this. He said, hey, listen, just put it behind the table. So he placed this massive box of nibs. I mean, and it was like, big box. He came back a couple hours later after we had a chance to kind of sort through the list. We made him a fair offer, and kind of to our surprise, he took it without haggling. And we had a big, huge bunch of nibs in our possession.
Oh, yeah. The thing you need to understand is this is one of those types of deals you hear about. A guy walks into a show with a big box of pen stuff, and it's literally more than you expect to see in a lifetime. Seriously, all together in one package.
Yeah.
It's like a bar joke. Albert says, but seriously, this was a killer deal, and we are over the moon to have stumbled onto those nibs.
Yep.
We're still going to need a couple days to check out each and every one to make sure that the right, that the box has the correct nib in it.
Mm-hmm.
We always check to make sure, and then we'll add them on the website.
Yep.
If you collect Estes, or if you're in the market for another Esterbrook nib, we do have a really cool out-of-stock feature on the site. So if there's a nib you're looking for, submit the request for notification on the site, and when we get them up, you'll get an email letting you know that they are now available again. Some of these are hard to find, and they won't last long, so don't hesitate.
Yeah, that's a new feature, which is kind of cool. I really like it. It kind of, a lot of people are always saying, hey, when you get these nibs in, let me know. And it's so hard to keep a real list because it's just so many people want them. Let's see, what else happened? Later that afternoon, we had a visit from George Ramakis. He stopped by the table to say hi and show off some of his pens.
He always has nice pens.
Man, he's got a nice collection going there. It really does. He had one pen that I was kind of drooling over, but I couldn't do it. A fantastic early Conklin Crescent filler that's got a Van Valkenburg clip on it. Fair, very fair, reasonable price, but I just couldn't buy it. It's not really my focus at this point. I did grab from him an Aiken Lambert lever filler that he had. I'm very pleased to add this to the collection. It's very clean, and it has a very early lever, which is exactly like the ones that Dan Kirchheimer and I were talking about the previous day. So that was cool. I also picked up on Saturday, this is really cool. It's a very rare, I guess it's not early, but it's a very rare Esterbrook Renew Point sales display.
Oh, yeah, you were doing the happy dance for that, too.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Shows the various steps of manufacture in making a Renew Point, from the blank piece of metal to tipping, rolling it, slitting it, finished nib, putting all the parts together. You see these for the dip pen nibs in the big framed pieces, but this is very, very unusual. Very happy to have it. It was a reasonable price. So all in all, the show Saturday was really busy, and we did really well, buying and selling. So we were more than pleased.
Yep. Lot of excitement. Saturday night was auction night. Like I did in Raleigh, I helped out at the front of the auction, keeping track of bidding, the final bids, calculating totals. John, is it Vili or Veli?
I
don't know.
Don't know the exact pronunciation.
Vili.
Yeah.
John, correct me if I'm wrong, but John Vili and I had handled the bookkeeping in Raleigh, and he was up there with me again. We had a lot of fun. Gary Garner was the auctioneer, did a great job, and Terry Mahorter was behind us keeping the inventory straight. Same crew that worked in Raleigh, and it seems that according to Gary, we're going to be the A-team for Gary when he does auctions. So I talked to the boys, and I guess we're going to be doing it again all together in Baltimore. There's only one problem. At most of the auctions, I sit next to Brian, and we can kind of murmur back and forth about, do you want this? Do you want that? Should I bid on this? Yeah, I'm not going to go any higher. Working up front means Brian's left unattended. And he has an auction number, and trust me, he knows how to use it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. It was fun, though, since before we started, I mentioned kind of jokingly that Brian could get one pen. I think he ended up with, what, 7?
5. 5 pens and 2 other auctions.
Okay. A couple of times, Gary and John were teasing me, and Gary even stopped once and said, "Lisa, is he allowed to bid on that? I think he's over his limit." So it was kind of cute.
Well, there were a few auctions that with proceeds going to a breast cancer charity that Bert Ozer had picked out. So if there's a cause to support, I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to bid on those items, kind of whether I want them or not, because it's going for a good cause. So, but in this case, it just so happened they were pen books, and we didn't have some of them, so I was doing the bidding on them. I ended up coming up with winning it. We won one of the Andy Lambro books, Fountain Pens Vintage and Modern, which is a nice big thick book here. Nice book. And then we also got the Jonathan Steinberg book on fountain pens that I don't believe we have either.
I think you bid on another book, but Stephanie outbid you.
I'm going to get her for that. No, the only other book, just kidding. The only other book that we don't have, I think, is the big Lambro book. And she won that one. It was nice. It had the original slipcover and everything.
Oh, that's right.
So, but what was really funny was just before the books, there was an auction for a nice blue Schaefer Lifetime first year touchdown. Triumph nib, looked okay. Just need a little TLC, and the bidding's at $10, and there's no reserve, and so I'm just not going to let that go. So I raised my number. I put in a bid at $15, and to my surprise, nobody else bids. So I win the pen, and this time Jonathan says to me, since I was only allowed to win one pen, he goes, "That's your one pen?"
Yes, $15.
I didn't think of it that way. We get kind of a good chuckle out of it. But prices were good. I managed to pick up a few more pens for the table, a couple of hard rubber Parkers, both with flexible nibs. a blue Vacuumatic Major with a two-tone nib. Very reasonable prices. But the piece that I really wanted to win, that I came there for, about 2/3 of the way through the auction, an early Paul Wirt eyedropper. Overfeed, two very interesting gold-filled barrel bands in a really cool chasing pattern. There it is, right there. Probably the best part, maybe other than the near mintiness of the pen, is the one-line imprint on the barrel, which just says Paul E. Wirt, patent February '85. So it's a very early pen, really outstanding, and we took it home for an incredibly reasonable price.
I thought overall the prices were pretty good, and even the ones that had reserves, which sometimes make you think that they're going to be out of your price range, some of those were really very reasonable.
Yeah,
like,
there was
why even have a reserve?
There was a black chased hard rubber autofiller, and the bidding was going nowhere. And I'm like, it had a reserve, so I just said, hey, I'll put in my bid, and I bid $35, and I heard someone over here. I overheard someone say, well, the reserve's more than that. And someone else bid $40 and I was done. And it had met the reserve for a near mint black chase hard rubber autofiller. So, the reserves were low. But the highlight of the auction, I think, the last, it wasn't exactly the last item, but it was the last printed item. The famous Watermans World's Smallest Pen. Complete with the original box. It's a tiny, tiny eyedropper. I mean, it's no more than, maybe 2 inches long.
2 inches, maybe.
And it even had a clip on the cap. Perfect shape. Lively bidding ensued, and the pen sold for $1,800, which actually many agreed was a very fair and reasonable price for such a rare pen. I expected it was. I envisioned it hitting $2,000, $2,200, but
I thought it would be higher.
Yeah, $1,800 it went for to the happy winner, and I think we can say that the first Philly show auction in a while was a success.
Yeah, it was interesting because at most auctions, the people who participate are like 90% dealers. And it was really kind of nice to see that there were customers and collectors, not just dealers buying to resell, but people buying for the collection. So that was kind of fun too.
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe that'll start a new trend in 2013.
Yeah, we need to get some more people at the auctions. They're absolutely fun to go to, regardless of whether you buy or not. So. And
I think we did follow our motto this time to not drink and bid, didn't we?
No drinking and bidding. No.
Yeah.
Water only. Yeah.
That was smart.
Yeah, that's why I won 7 lots.
That's why I was up front. Let's see. So we went to bed after that. I think we stopped and had a beer after, or did we just go up to? No, we had a bottle of wine upstairs.
We had a bottle of wine upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah. To celebrate a successful auction. Brian was all excited. He won his pen, and I was just glad to be able to sleep. Sunday, we got up, started off really, really nicely. We could sleep in a little bit.
Oh.
We started to pack up the room, and then we headed down for breakfast. And I got to tell you, never underestimate the power of a really nice hot breakfast. The eggs, the sausage. What was different on Sunday? There was still fruit.
No sausage, but sausage links, but patties. I think was
true.
The only thing that was different.
The bacon was super crispy.
Yeah, it was
awesome.
Much better, if that's even possible on Sunday.
I don't know. The waiter who seated us and got us our drinks was a little weird. He was kind of like obsessed with prune juice. He kept offering it to everybody. I don't want to know why. It's just kind of odd.
Yeah, he was a little
chatty.
Yeah. So,
it was cute though.
We got back into the room. Some
the
trading room. Some more buying ensued Sunday morning, but having.
I didn't buy anything.
I just, at some point I gotta kind of, cut myself off because you spend so much. You got to take some money home, but I
That's my motto.
I couldn't stand to leave some of these deals sitting on the table. I grabbed a couple more Esterbrook pens to add to Saturday's Esterbrook buying, which also included a number of Esterbrook pens that we bought at the table. And we got another hard-to-find Esterbrook nib that's going in with the rest of them. Yeah. But, since I was buying pens at this one table, they were like $30 each or 5 for $100, something like that. I had to throw in one more hard rubber eyedropper.
Another tire.
Yeah, another tire. There you go. This time an off-brand model. It's called the Rival pen, but it has these two really nice, very well done gold-filled barrel bands, and a very interesting gold nib. So, third tier, but a nice looking pen. And then, as I was leaving the table, I kind of something out of the corner of my eye. It just caught something. It looked out of place. It was really odd. And I looked closer, and it was an Esterbrook Diplo pen. And I got 100 of them. I don't need any more. But it was in a box, and I looked closer, and it's not just an Esterbrook Diplo pen.
It's a super.
You can't see it. I don't know why I'm holding this up, but it's.
You're excited.
I am excited. I was so excited to see this. It's an actual bill signer. One that was used by President Johnson himself, August 11th, 1965. He used it to sign an act for saline water conservation, a conservation program conducted by the Secretary of the Interior. It's still in its original box, which is unique to these bill signer pens. It doesn't say Esterbrook on it. It's a much sturdier construction, and it includes the little note inside the sheet that indicates what the bill was used for, what date. And what's really cool, I just noticed this when I pulled it out. You could still see on the nib the ink, the dried ink from when it was used. I asked the price. I almost did a double take, and then for whatever reason, maybe because it was Sunday, the price got lowered, even though I didn't ask for it.
Gotta love it when that happens.
I pulled money out of my pocket and I took it home, and it's just a real super nice piece of history. So
you threw the money at him and ran before he realized.
Yeah,
what a great deal he gave you.
We've been collecting Esterbrook pens for 15 years, and when we find a pen that we don't have or one that's this special. Yeah. It's awesome. So, super glad to have it. I mean, I have a bill signer, so to speak, but as kind of a little tangent here, these pens were made in great numbers, and you could actually, up until about 10 years ago, still buy them from the Johnson Presidential Library, brand new, never used. This one was actually used by the president. And I have one of the other ones, but I don't have one that has the box. With the little sheet. So very happy to have it. We closed up on Sunday. It was another brisk day.
Which is unusual. Sundays are not always busy steadily.
Yeah, in fact, we missed lunch again. We're not doing real good at this lunch thing this year so far.
And then we feel it at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah. But it took us about, 2.5 hours to tear down and load up the car. Got back on the road right away. Pulled in our driveway about 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon on Monday, and a long, tiring drive.
We usually just drive through the night. We'll pull over if we get tired, but we always seem to, unfortunately, have to come back the very next day for something. We did pull off, I think, around 11 Sunday night, and I just intended for like an hour and a half nap. We ended up sleeping for like 4.5 hours. We both needed it. Yeah. It was, a long, busy week beforehand. And then it doesn't sound as tiring as it really is to just, stand on your feet and talk all day. But it's
tiring.
It's tough. Yeah. And as fun as pen shows may sound, and as excited as Brian gets about, finding cool new pens and It's so nice to get home. And that first night in our own bed is just heavenly.
Yep.
So
you've got a couple people to mention.
I got some peeps to shout out to.
Your turn.
I promised all weekend. I kept promising. So first off, Hugh, I'm really sorry to break the news to you, babe, but you're no longer our solo shout out, at least this week.
We just mentioned him again, so he's going, woo!
I know, he's driving. Keep your hands on the wheel. We did stop at the Coach Outlet store in Pleasant Prairie on the way home, and we did find the husband's chair. This one was wooden and looked far more uncomfortable than the one you sent us in the picture, so, tell Carol to keep taking you to that store so at least you can have a comfy chair. Let's see. I promised to say hi to Deborah. It was really nice to meet you. If you're going to be in Baltimore, definitely stop by again. Vicki, what's up? How's the Twisby mini working out? Let us know what else is on your wish list. And I believe you're going to be in Baltimore, you tweeted.
I think so.
Vicki mentioned that she went home and watched like 3 podcasts in a row. Sounded like the Anderson Penn's podcast marathon. You've got like 30 more to go. Pace yourself. Let's see who else. Sabina. Hey, thanks for the Facebook message. It was awesome to chat with you. I think it was both days or all 3 days?
Yeah, I think so.
We had some good conversations. Yeah. Claire with an E. There you go. I got it right. One of our friends from Reddit. Claire, this is all yours, Brian. Claire had the best line. The best comment at the pen show.
I'm trying to remember which pen it was. The Twisby.
Or the Metropolitan?
I don't remember. She's trying a number of pens. They give her a pen and she says, "This one's a nice writer. I don't like it."
I'm like, wait, what? Well, she knew what she wanted. Yep. And that's always a good thing. It has to be this long, or it can't be too heavy, or it has to feel this way or whatever. But just the way that it came out was really funny. She spent a lot of time with us, and we had a lot of really good conversations. Megan and Don, they had a lot of fun at the table. They were playing with pens, checking out some of the ink. I can't remember what they bought. I know that they were pleased with whatever they got.
Was that Metropolitan or Twisby or something, I thought? Some
maybe.
Ink. Yeah.
But I do remember the most awesome part was while Don was upstairs taking a nap, Megan came down and bought him a pen he'd been drooling over or looking at. So Don, dude, Megan is totally a keeper. And by the way, Valentine's Day is coming up. We got engaged on Valentine's Day, so, just something to think about. She's awesome. She could have been taking a nap. She bought you a pen. Keep her. We got to spend time with our really good friends, Harry and Julie, yep. And Jared. And I have to say, David and Janet Wright rock.
Yep.
Like, beyond big time. I had joked before we got there about having coffee ready because we were going to need it. And Janet pulled off this amazing miracle. Coffee, fresh, hot nectar of the gods, was delivered to our table pretty much right when we got there.
Pretty much immediately. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we brought some stuff in. Next thing I know, there are 2 huge cups of coffee, and they weren't even there yet. Janet had managed to get in touch with somebody who she knew was there and arranged for him to get us and bring us coffee.
Yeah, no,
phenomenal.
It took us forever to drink it, but boy, it was sure nice to have it right
it was
away.
Awesome. Big cups.
Yeah.
You guys rock. Let's see. Stephanie hung out with us for
a couple days.
Yeah, parts of a couple days. She was one of the last customers to leave, in fact. And Stephanie, by the way, I got your email about the pads. I'll get back to you tomorrow. That'll be a fun project. Brian and Mike had a good time kind of making a Franken pen, taking a nib from the nib from the Plummix and putting it on the Prairie.
Yep.
And he emailed us to let us know that the Franken pen operation went off without a hitch, and he's having a good time. So we're glad that worked out. I love my Prairie nib, but the Plumix is fun too. That's a stub, so that's kind of cool.
If I could only find my Plumix, I could do that, but I don't know
I don't know where that thing went.
I don't know where it went.
A big hi to Ira Stone. He was waiting for us when we got there. In fact, he'd been tweeting about already being there waiting and, joking that he'd have some coffee ready. And so we had some good conversation with him. And I think it was Sunday that he brought his son to the show as well. I think so.
Yeah. That sounds
sweetheart
about right.
of a guy. And Ira, let us know if you're going to be in Baltimore. We'll have coffee or something.
Yep.
Our good friend and world famous FP Geeks bad cartoon artist, Tim Hoffman, was there.
Yeah, he's funny.
Oh my God. He's a blast. It was awesome to see him again. I think we saw him in DC where he gave us this bag of coffee. It was awesome. I guess we're just known for liking coffee. I don't know.
It's not a bad thing.
And we saw him again in Columbus, had a couple drinks with him, spent some time with him. This time he actually brought his own pen posse. He brought his sister Maggie. And then again, I think it must have been like Family Day on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. He brought his parents too. So that was kind of cool.
That's funny. Who else?
Jared, the Kenro IT god, was there. He was at the bar, was it Saturday night?
Yes, Saturday night.
With two lovely ladies, retailers from New York.
Yep.
Our really good friends, Mario and Angelica, were there. We always have a good time with them. I just wish we could find the time for more than just like hugs, hello, and
Hi,
goodbye
how you doing?
And in passing.
Yeah.
Ron and Robin Zorn, Bill and Nadia Weekly. Hirsch Davis was there. I hardly spoke to Hirsch.
Yeah, me neither.
And he was in our row. He was just...
Was he really?
Yeah, he was. He was in the same row we were, just a couple tables down. Anne-Marie, Scott Franklin, and Jim Rouse were there. Bob Nuren, who Brian bought his Lamy 2000 from. The Kenro gang, including Jared and Dick Crane. Fountain Pen Hospital was there, so I took a few minutes to chat with Ed Fingerman. Our very good friends and cohorts or comrades or, I don't know, partners in crime, Brian and Andrea Gray were there. They were in the other room, so we didn't get to spend quite as much time with them, but I know every time I passed by, they were busy.
Yep, always busy.
We're going to try to get to their pen workshop sometime in the summer when we all have a little bit more time.
Yeah, let's. I'm hoping it's a show that we can go where it's still warm out.
Yeah.
I mean, Columbus would be okay, but that's in November, so. Yeah. I mean, it'd be nice to have a day, and we spend a day, maybe have a little barbecue or something, make some pens. That would be fun.
That would be fun.
Yep.
To watch some of our inventory be made.
Yep.
Totally cool. Jerry Adair and Dave Ushkow, they both tempted Brian.
Yeah, Jerry's going to get my business for a while because he got a couple pens that I really want. I showed considerable constraint on a lovely, lovely Grieshaber that he had, and I hope he's going to be in LA. That's all I got to say.
I don't know that he is. He's
probably not going to be.
Well, you might see him in Baltimore. He's
Maybe.
from Michigan.
Yeah.
And Dave Ushkow usually has stuff that tempts you.
He had some really cool pilots this time around. I thought were really neat.
Okay.
So
I even teased him that I was going to pay him to hide pens from you. And he said, yeah, but Brian will come up and ask. And so that works for him because he was going to get paid both ways.
Either way, yeah.
Yeah, he's a smart man. I know I'm forgetting people, and I'm sorry. It's
Jimmy Dolov.
Jimmy Dolov, yeah.
Yeah, can't forget Jimmy. Can't forget Jimmy.
He's so sweet with that southern drawl and the sweater vest.
Yep. Yeah, he had big table. So
yeah.
I don't know who else I'm forgetting.
I don't remember.
Bert Ozer. Bert was there.
Well, it's Bert's show.
Yeah.
The mayor was there.
The mayor, yeah. Mayor showed up on Saturday.
Big speechification from one of the mayor's peeps on all the fabulous things the mayor had done. It was, I think, a little long.
Yeah. Well, thankfully it was in the other room. Although, I don't think he ever made it into our room.
He did. He came around and shook hands.
Did he? He never shook hands with me.
No, I didn't get it either.
Well,
we can't vote for him, so maybe we don't count. I don't know.
I guess we don't count.
But
anyway.
it was nice, and I'm sure that the publicity was good. And he talked about some pen. They gave him a pen.
Mm-hmm.
Kenro did, I think. And so he talked about how he was going to use that to sign some new bill or something, and it was cool. It was just a little loud.
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's cool that you got a public official that comes to something like this. So
yeah,
it gets the pen community a little press.
Absolutely.
So.
And apparently he actually uses fountain pens, so he gets big points for that.
Absolutely. So that was the pen show.
Whew.
Let's do a quick rundown of what's modern and new on the website and call it a podcast.
There you go.
Just a real quick mention on some of this, and we've got more details on Sunday because we're going to do another one on Sunday,
Yes.
and some killer stuff we're going to talk about on Sunday.
Oh my God.
But these we just got to get out. First and foremost, the 3 new Iroshizuku inks are in stock.
They arrived while we were gone.
While we were gone, kind of inconveniently while we were gone, but what can you do? So the 3 new ones are in stock. We also received some new Aurora. The style model is sitting in our lobby right now. And we got there's some cool pens. That Copper is a neat pen.
Is it the paprika? I don't know. We haven't even opened all the boxes.
It's Copper. I think it's just called Copper, but
I like
it's copper
that one.
metal. Yeah, it's kind of a neat pen.
Remember, Aurora is mine.
Okay, Omas is mine then.
Okay.
All right. We got some new Scribble Workshop ink colors are on their way. Should be here any day soon, and Organic Studio inks as well.
Yep, those are new to us, and some cool, funky colors. Scribble, we're getting several colors in, including a new type of ink, so that'll be fun. We were crazy. We had several boxes shipped to the hotel, and they were huge.
Huge, yeah. I guess we did.
Huge.
We didn't mention this, did we?
No, we were afraid that they wouldn't arrive in time to the house and then we wouldn't have time to inventory them in and then pack them up and then fit them in the car. And we take so much stuff to the shows that we literally play Tetris to get everything into the car and still leave room to, put the seat back and try to be a little comfortable.
There's no room for one more bottle of ink.
Pretty much no. Unless you put it like down in the passenger footwell, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we had Diamine ink, like 30 or 40 new colors shipped to the show. We had Noodlers.
Big box.
Huge box.
Yeah.
Noodlers, inks and pens shipped to the show. Schaefer, inks and pens. We got Montegrappa ink and Omas ink shipped to the show. So whatever didn't sell, we had to try to figure out how to fit in the car to bring back.
So keep in mind, we had those 3 boxes, and then we had this huge box that had all the nibs in it.
Yep.
And then we bought a bunch of other stuff too. So, that was real fun putting that all back together.
Yeah, it was like Russian nesting dolls or something. It was crazy. But we have a whole bunch of new Diamine ink colors. The new Schaefer Cigaris pens, those are cool.
Nice pen. Real cool pen. Nice price.
I need to check our sales log versus the inventory and then check your shirt pocket.
Why? I don't have one.
Because you were drooling over
I don't
those.
have one yet.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll check it out. And then I started negotiation on something really cool for the lady pen collectors. Mm-hmm. Kind of a little tangent.
We'll make a big splash, as it were.
We'll see how that progresses, but
hopefully
that was kind of cool.
Keep your fingers crossed. That's enough of a tease. I think we'll maybe go into some more detail in a few days.
Yep.
Along with everything else. Anything else you want to mention? That's probably
enough.
probably
Go
enough.
to a show. It's
Go
awesome.
to a show. Holy smokes. Especially if it's got an auction. Yeah. But don't bid against. Talk to me first. Don't bid against anything I'm going to buy.
Man, you were giving Stephanie and the guy in front of you
No,
dirty
it's the guy
looks.
in front of me. I could have bought that word. I had the high bid at $50, and he raises his paddle up 75, and I'm like, dude.
Oh yeah, you gave him a dirty look. He couldn't see. I'm sure he felt it in the back of his head. Bam.
Anyway, I guess that's probably enough for this week. Comments, suggestions for topics, use your pens. Write to us at Anderson Pens, P.O. Box 732, Appleton, Wisconsin 54912.
Or catch us online.
Email Brian at andersonpens.net.
Or Lisa at andersonpens.net.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/andersonpens.
We are on Facebook at facebook.com/andersonpens.
Our blog is andersonpens.net/blog.
And our website, andersonpens.net.
Join our mailing list for advance notice of upcoming events or pre-orders. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We'll see you next week.
Sayonara.
Bye.